So, if you were watching the channel last week, I was putting Brenna's hardtop back on her Jeep and got the hardtop on just fine. I went to lower the door down after the Jeep was out of here, and one of the springs in my garage door let go. Here's one behind me. This is a pretty common thing to have happen. My house is from 1959, and I've been in here for like 22 years, and I don't know when the last time one of these springs were changed. So it's common for these. You should replace them probably every 10 years. It's just one of those things that, oh yeah, I'll get to it later, and then bam, the thing breaks. But I'll show you what I did to reinstall new springs on here. So here's one of the old springs that I had. It's pretty beefy. It's pretty big in diameter. I just had to get this thing fixed to get my kid's Thunderbird back in here. I needed to get it out of here. I need to be able to open the garage door. You know, it's November. We're gonna have to be snow blowing pretty soon, so I can't have this thing not open. So when the spring broke, it actually broke on this side over here, and what happened is the cable got caught in the track right here, and I couldn't get the door up. So I took a flathead screwdriver and I kind of pried the door a little bit. I could sneak the cable in there and then finally get the door open on the garage. So what you do if you break a spring is you put the garage door down on the scale. So one spring was attached, so the scale said 60 pounds. So if there's one spring attached, it's taking some of the load off, so you double that number. So I'm figuring the door weighed about 120 pounds. But it's not a new door, it's an old wooden door, so it has some weight to it. So I ended up buying 240-pound springs, and these seem to work really good. So when the spring broke, the cable went behind, like in the rail right here, and I couldn't get the track, and I couldn't get the door open. So I had to take a flathead screwdriver, pry the cable out, get it on the other side of the track, get it up and over that wheel again. Luckily, the other side didn't break at the same time. Usually it's one side, so I could use it as a reference to how it was connected. But what I had to do is, since these are newer springs and they don't expand out as long as the older springs, I had to move that pulley on the cable. So, I don't know if you can see it up here. There's like a clasp up there. So right, I'll get my finger. So right there's like a clasp that holds the length of the cable in place. So I had to let that out and make the cable longer with that pulley right there, because when the door was down, the new spring wouldn't expand out as long as the old spring. The old spring went all the way down there. So that's something you might run into if you have an old house like I do, an old garage door. You might have to adjust that pulley on the track a little bit. It wasn't a huge pain, but I've never done this before, so I probably should have did a video on it, but I figured I'd tell you what I did in case you had to do this. Oh, and another thing, when you put the new spring on, so here's my old pulley, and there's a mounting bracket sticking out. So I had to undo that from the pulley and then put the spring on it and reconnect it with a bolt, and then connect it to the other end of the track. There's a bolt sticking out. My other pulley, the original pulley, didn't have like a breakaway, I'm going to call it breakaway guy wire, which I have a safety wire, which I have on there now, and you can see it going through the middle of the spring. So if the spring ever breaks again, that wire will help to keep it up there and from flying around the garage. So I added that in. What they tell you on the box, on the instructions, they tell you to connect it over here first and then connect it at the pulley end over here. And it's pretty much impossible. Like, it's freaking, yeah, right, good luck. So what I did is I took the bracket out, took the bolt out, I looped it through that end of the spring, then I grabbed the other end, and I was able to muscle it on to that hook. It was a hell of a lot easier hooking it onto that hook once the other end was connected than to do it the other way around. The instructions on the box to say to do it the other way around. They say to hook it on the eyelet first. Yeah, it's great. It ain't gonna happen. There's quite a bit of tension in there, and it was just way easier doing it the way I just described to you. So hopefully this video will help a couple of you guys out. Just kind of want to describe what I did and what I ran up against. And like I said, I had to adjust that pulley a little bit to get some more slack out of it to catch the new spring, because the new spring was a little shorter than the old spring. And they're just not making heavy-duty springs like they used to. Nothing's as good as it used to be. So if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll reply back to you. And thanks for watching the channel, guys. Appreciate it. And I hope I'm helping you out. Thanks.